Hello, have we lost Diego? We are live.
We are
Diego, come back.
live. We are
Hello,
live,
everyone.
and we are obviously super prepared for our stream today. Hi, everybody. My name is Dan. I am your oftentimes but not always host. I'm the head of public relations here at Scaleway, and this is Scaleway Sessions number 11, the Eurovision hack party. What are we doing today? We're having fun today. Isn't that right, Eli?
We're certainly going to try. You and I obviously have dressed for the occasion. I've got like my little stars in my hair that match my party glasses. Obviously, you're looking fabulous in pink. Do you want to show off? Yeah, you want to show off the gloves? Amazing. Yeah, it's Eurovision. It's Eurovision week. I am going into tomorrow night completely unspoiled. I don't know what any of the entries are like this year, apart from my friends in the group chat have been telling me little tidbits. But we're going to get together for a watch party tomorrow, and to get us in the spirit, we are going to be stupid on stream, basically.
That's the whole plan, getting stupid on stream, which, yep. I mean, to be fair, it's not super different from what we normally are doing on stream, but we're just leaning into a little harder this time around. So what are we going to be doing today? Well, so we came up with the idea, and time is going to tell whether it's a good idea or not, but the idea is that we're going to basically find a list of languages, right, that we don't know already. And Eli's super surprised at something.
I am. We have Diego. We've had Diego the whole time. Something was wrong on my end with driving the stream, and we should have him now.
It's Diego!
That's my bad. Sorry, Diego. Did not mean to deplatform you.
Behind the curtain.
Oh, sad. Hey, welcome. So I already introduced myself, Eli. For those of you joining us for the first time, Eli, who are you?
Hello. I'm Eli. I'm a developer advocate at Scaleway. I like code and knitting and Eurovision, and I talk a big game about tech a lot of the time, but I feel like you're going to see me really struggle with code today. I'm not actually in the driver's seat, thank goodness. So, but I plan to contribute stupidity nonetheless.
But who is in the driver's seat, Diego?
I don't know. Maybe I am. Hello, everyone. I'm Diego, developer advocate here at Scaleway, and I'm an outsider. I'm coming from the far lands of America, and I've heard about Eurovision, but Eurovision, but I have no idea what the big deal is. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Like, everybody's got to have a first time for everything, right? I mean, you rode a bike for the first time, you swam in a lake for the first time, and you do Eurovision for the first time. For those of you who don't know Eurovision, look, I'm not saying you're bad people, but you can improve your lives by discovering the glory that is Eurovision. Eurovision finals are tonight. They are tonight. They're happening at 9 o'clock my time zone. It could be check timeanddate.com for whenever it's happening in your time zone. I live in Paris, and it's going down. So Ukraine won last year, and the country that wins gets to host it. But now would be a bad time to do a Eurovision in Ukraine. So the country that's hosting it, and I want to be very clear about this, they volunteered to do this, is England. It's going to be hosted, yes, exactly, hosted in Liverpool, which is super, super great because that country is no longer part of the European Union. And this gives you an idea of the deliciousness of like the geopolitic behind Eurovision. Also, Australia gets to compete for some reason. Anyway, the point is, Eurovision, super, super great. What are we going to be doing today? We are not going to be giving any spoilers about Eurovision, okay? So I'm not going to tell you who won. I'm not going to tell you who I think is going to win. I'm not going to tell you who the favorite songs are going into it, okay? But what we are going to do is we are going to look at some data today. We're going to look at some Eurovision data today. We're going to see if we can acquire some data sets. We're going to see if we can find an API, maybe a website we can scrape, and see if we can derive some insight about Eurovision, about who wins, about which countries do what. Who knows what we're going to figure out, okay? But here is the challenge. Remember earlier I said we had an idea and time will tell if it's a good idea or not? The idea was we're going to do this in a language we don't already know, right? So between the three of us, we took a look and we said, okay, we're all computer people and we program in a set of languages, right? So what languages do we not already know? Okay, and we came up with a list. Are you ready for the list? Ready for the list? All right, here's the list. This is in no particular order. Elixir, Elm, Lua, Julia, R, Haskell, Perl, and Dart. Now, we're cheating a little bit with Perl. I used to be a professional Perl monger in a previous life, but like major language revisions has happened since then. So the other ones, clearly, like one or the other of us have seen some Lua or seen of Elixir in our lives, but we do not know how to program in these languages at a professional level or even an amateur level for the most part. So we had a whole big idea where we were going to do some bracket online and get people to vote on what you're going to do as a big double elimination thing and blah, blah, blah. And then we didn't. So here's what we're going to do instead. I wrote a very, very small bit of Python, which is one of the languages we do know, with a list in it. And I'm going to use a cryptographically secure library, the secrets library, to generate a truly random selection from that list, and then we're going to see what happens.
You're not just doing random.random.
I'm doing secrets.choice. Ooh, yeah, it takes a fraction of a second longer to do.
You have to Google to know about that.
Oh, yeah. Well, some languages we do happen to be professional developers in, right? So there we go. So I'm going to run it now, and there's no sense sharing my screen because it's just a one-liner. But here we go.
Picking his favorite.
I'm going to run it. I'm going to run it once, and it's Lua. So Lua is the language we are jumping into today, everybody. So what do we know about Lua? I know two things off the top of my head about Lua. One, it's Portuguese for moon. I don't know if that has any relevance or if it's just a coincidence. And two, it is used, or at least was used, a lot in video game development for a long time. So video games that had plugins or the modding community, they wanted to foster a modding community, would have Lua interpreters that would ship with the game, and then people could write code. And I don't know why, to be clear, why Lua was the thing instead of any other language, but I know that's the other thing I know about Lua. Eli, do you know anything about Lua?
I think 3 jobs ago we had a few glue scripts in Lua because it was one of the languages that an external tool had tooling for.
Yep.
But I never touched it.
Okay.
I made a point not to touch it because I didn't know anything about it.
Super. Diego, do you know anything?
For me, kind of the same thing. I know some Brazilian people were the creators of it. That's why it's moon in Portuguese. And also, I know that it's been used in games for scripting and customization. I gave it a try with Dota, the only game that I play so far, which was not helpful because they didn't expose the API that I needed. But yeah, that was it. I installed it on Windows back then. It was kind of useful, and the tutorial part was helpful. But yeah, I used it for 1 hour until I figured out the API wasn't there, and I moved on with my life.
Super. Excellent. Okay, great. So collectively, we don't know anything useful about Lua is really what we've accomplished here. Super. That for me is the perfect condition, right? We know it's a programming language. We know it's been around at least long enough that we know we don't know anything about it. So in principle, it should have a large enough ecosystem that we are not going to be treading into some sort of unstructured alpha quality. It doesn't actually have structures. We have to compile it. We have to write assembler to make it go, right? I remember the very, very early days at Mozilla when Rust was being developed, and it was like, okay, I want to start programming Rust, and the first step was, okay, you're going to have to literally write a bunch of code to just compile Rust on your machine, right? We're not there. We're going into something that's a bit more mature, and this is part of that learning process, right? When you're thinking to yourself, I want to learn a new language, or I'm going to use a language to develop a thing in the real world, you don't just jump into whatever. You have to have some reason for doing it. Now, our reason is stupid, but at least we're going into that not blind. So, Diego, you volunteered to drive, right? Is that correct, sir?
Yeah. I'm willing to give it a try.
Willing to take the plunge? Okay. So here's what I propose. You are ultimately going to end up sharing your screen. Eli is doing a little bit of work on the back end, sort of driving this, monitoring the chat and stuff like that.
And messing it up and not letting Diego be on screen for like 2 minutes.
Well,
learning in public.
Exactly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up. I'm going to just literally use a search engine, and I'm going to search for Lua programming language getting started.
Any Lua devs in chat want to help us out?
As if you are in the chat, or if you know anybody and you're in the chat and you know anybody who knows Lua, tell them to come on the chat, because we'd like to learn with you, basically. So a good place to start learning Lua is the book Programming in Lua.
All right.
Sure. That
Give
seems
me a
reasonable.
few hours.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have a few hours. So let's dive right in. Turns out that there is a live demo. So while Diego is maybe getting started, why don't we check out the live demo? Eli, do you think you could allow me to share a screen?
Go for it.
Okay.
Share your screen and I will do the thing.
Nice. So Lua demo. Share. Okay. Make that a little bit bigger. So try Lua before downloading it. All right, so at some point we'll have to download something. Enter your Lua program or choose one of the demo programs. Well, okay, hello sounds reasonable, right? So hello Lua, the first program in every language, it's a hello world. So what can we tell right from here? Again, the first time I've ever seen Lua code, already it looks like 2 dashes is a comment. What do you think, Eli?
Looks good.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's convention to always have the file name in the first bit, or if that's only if you're, I don't know, maybe something for this interpreter that they've done.
That could be convention. It could be something to do with the interpreter. That's right. The first program in every language. And then IO, right? So let's run this. Let's see what happens. So IO, probably input, output, right? We've seen IO as a construct in other languages, sometimes capitalized, right? Depending on the language. Write, that sounds like we're writing to an output. That makes sense. Looks like we're using this notation where we have like a library and then a function in that library and then brackets to encapsulate what we're passing to it. So this doesn't look weird. There's nothing, double quotes and something underscore version, all caps outside of the double quotes with commas and then a /n. So I'm guessing that whatever's in double quotes is going to get interpreted, because the /n is going to be like a new line, right? And then maybe if it's in single quotes, it won't get interpreted. We can try that out. And then underscore version, that's got to be some sort of variable, some sort of global, some sort of built-in.
I wonder what happens if we try and just print that.
Yeah. So let's run this and see what happens. So the output is
of course,
hello world from Lua 5.4, which does what we expect.
I think it's just concatenating things, isn't it? That's basically doing the same as Python plus for prints.
Right. Yeah. So exactly. So the commas are concatenating and adding a space, which isn't weird. That's actually standard in a lot of languages when you're dealing with string output, right?
Well, it's not adding a space because the space after the from is in that string.
Oh, you're right. Look at that. You're 100% correct.
That's the attention
what happens
to
if we
detail
put a plus?
for which I'm known.
What happens?
I'm not. I missed things all the
Typed out
time.
a string with a string. So plus is very obviously for math only, right? We can't add string to
this
string.
Isn't Python. We don't overload our operators here, apparently.
Right. Apparently we don't. So we'll put that back. That's fine. Hello world from version. Nice. Now what happens if we single quote? Let's see what happens.
Seems happy, doesn't it?
Seems happy.
Well, we don't know because that's the new line.
So
we don't actually know.
So single quoting, it's still interpreted inside of the single quotes.
Nice.
Okay, that's fair, right? So we've learned some things here. What happens if we try to put a comment at the end of this? This is a comment, and what do you assume to be a comment, which is the double dashes, right? That processed. What if we use something that is like often a comment in another language, but maybe not in... Oh, so it's a...
So I wonder what hash does in Lua.
Hash does something in Lua. We don't know what. What about a semicolon?
Ooh, so this is something.
This.
It hated the is, but it didn't mind the this. We've got
Oh.
some JavaScript style this going on.
So there's so this is something, and also the semicolon is something. Maybe, okay. Is it maybe just like in Bash, usually you put it on the same line?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it's and you do that in Python also. We want to write a one-liner with multiple.
So what if we IO write hi there? Indeed.
Nice.
So we just put it on the same line. All right. So good. So we're learning some things here.
Actually, having seen some of the malicious Perl scripts and Lua scripts, because I think they're quite. I don't know if they're related, but I know that I could guess they share some features. Seeing some of the malicious Perl one-liners that you see floating around on InfoSec Twitter, could probably have guessed that the semicolon was that, because you see a lot of them in those scripts.
Yeah, that's true. That's a really good point. Okay, so so we're curious about the top here. Hello, Lua. Now, this is just running in the background. There's no way for us to tell what virtual machine is making this go. If there's some sort of Lua interpreter it's lua.org/cgi bin/demo. Man, you can't see the URL that I'm sharing with you, but I just gave it to you. It contains CGI bin, which is warming the cockles of my ancient system administrator heart. CGI bin, for those of you who were born this millennium, is the original serverless, right? So serverless architecture, way back in the day, we called it CGI bin. And so I assume what's happening here is that we are, if it's actually CGI bin, it's running server side. So there's a Lua interpreter running, and we're feeding it things, and it's giving us the output.
Well, one of the options we had was a load of data wrangling. So let's just do it all on their server.
Yeah, right? Exactly. So that's interesting that they would allow us, in principle, to just run arbitrary code on.
Is this about to become a container breakout hack?
all of a sudden, InfoSec raiding our channel, right? Yeah, exactly. Whoops. Okay, cool. Okay, that's good to know. So I think we've extracted what we could extract from the hello world. What do you think?
I mean, I'm ready to try and dive in and build some things and have it not work.
Let's look at some globals.lua. Show all the global variables. So we got a keyword here called local, which in the context might mean something because we're talking about globals, right? Scene equals, and we've got, what would you call these, Eli? These symbols right here.
Curly braces.
Curlies, braces, yeah, excellent. Yeah. Brackets, maybe?
Brackets to me are the same thing as parentheses, but I think that's a Britishism.
Oh, yeah? Okay, fair enough. Curlies, curly cues. We've got the curlies here. Then we got what are these ones here? What do you call these ones?
I call those brackets or parentheses.
Brackets.
What are you pointing at? Oh, the parentheses? Yeah.
Oh, the parentheses. There you go.
We need to get our shared nomenclature.
Yeah. So these ones are the curlies. These ones are the not curlies. These ones are the Sharpies because they have ankles. There we go. Perfect.
Square brackets.
Square brackets, circle brackets, curly brackets. There, let's piss off everyone. So scene T. Okay, so look at this scene square. So maybe this is looks like an array, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe some sort of a hash.
I don't know. They're not doing very descriptive naming of the variables.
No, they are not. S and N. Okay. Maybe in the world of Lua, verbosity is not valued like it is in some other languages, being descriptive and, making the code readable. Maybe Lua is all about writing the fewest amount of bytes possible.
Yeah, like back in the days when writing C code and your file names had to be 8 letters long for minimum. Some reason that I didn't bother to learn when I was still writing C.
There you go.
It's got 2 imperatives on one line after the do. So you've got this for loop looping over something called pairs T, and you're actually doing 2 assignments, it looks like, on the same line without a semicolon.
So apparently the curlies help you create a table.
Ooh, a table.
Table.
Scroll to the top before the
Oh, is that
function.
also in Bash? Do you do tables in Bash?
Thing is a table.
Okay. Okay. So what would table be in a language that we already know?
Looks like an array.
An array?
Yep.
HTML. I know what a table looks like in HTML.
Yeah, right.
We've got all
But
kinds
that's
of
why I
arrays.
ask, because like if it's is it like multi-dimensional or is it just a list?
I would assume 2 dimensions for a table.
It's from what I can see here on some other examples, it's just a list.
It's just a list?
Dimension. Yeah.
Okay.
Very long,
But
thin table.
wait. If I scroll down, I can see that there are 2-dimensional tables.
Oh yeah. So for key in pairs T, do this operation. This forms our loop, but do end. Okay, that's the syntax for our loop. Table.sort. And we know that this makes a table. So we've got table.sort s. So I guess this is like some sort of like a library.
Table is also a built-in.
It's a built-in.
It's like
and we're calling sort
in Python
from it on s.
Yep.
Right. And then for a key value, kv, okay, we figured that one out. Good for us, not complete morons. In I pairs, because why not I? S do print iv. Okay, well, I mean, this is decipherable. I would not accept this code as part of a code review on my open source project, but I mean, we're working through it. And then we got our nested do ends. Oh, this is a then end. So there are different types. This is interesting. So there's loops, right? There's for, do, end, right? And then there's if, then, end.
Okay.
Right? Okay.
Looks like every indentation has to end with it so far that we've seen.
Yep. Now I wonder, do you think white space matters?
Good question. Let's get rid of some and see.
Yeah, well, let's run this and see what happens. Right? So it's just going to dump out a bunch of variables. And look, some of them
and I bet like table is in there, right? Because that's a built-in.
Right. So I'm just going to remove some indentation just to be a jerk. We're going to see what happens. I don't know. I didn't notice any difference.
Yeah, it looks like it's
supposed to work.
Yeah. All right. So white space doesn't matter. Which okay, super. Oh, and I
mean,
can't
if it did, you wouldn't need the ends, would you?
Or just hit restore. Restore. Let's just reload it. Done. Aha.
It's also calling dump, which is the function we're defining here. So it's recursing.
It's recursive. Oh, look at that. You're right. Function dump ti, and then we dump here. Interesting. So, wow, that's like some inception stuff. So we're not dealing with, well, no, I guess you could call it in yourself if you were like in a functional programming language. Is Lua a functional programming language?
Don't know. You can do it in Python though. You can do recursion.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Well, we don't know, but that's fine. So what we figured out so far is that Lua looks kind of like a mishmash of other languages we've seen already, right? Like in Ruby, they like to be expressive like this by using words instead of symbols a lot of times, right? We've learned that there's a nomenclature called table instead of what we might call a list or what we call, an array or whatever like that, right? We can recursively call things. All right, that makes sense. What's bisect do? Bisection method for solving nonlinear equations. I'm going to take another little sip of my wine.
Yeah, we need it to deal with this.
And let's do some computer science, boys and girls.
I can check out then. Bye.
Yeah, okay. So let's move right along. The sieve of Eratosthenes, programmed with coroutines. I like how we went from Hello World to the sieve of Eratosthenes, programmed with coroutines in 2 steps. So one of the things we've learned from the Lua demo
is that Lua programs are hardcore.
is that you go 0, 10, 100 kilometers an hour, right? There's no in between.
Well, also the person who wrote this, I would put money on them having studied maths as well.
Yeah, I
think that's something I remember from my degree, the Civ of Eratosthenes.
I also like that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 sample code items, and the fifth one just happens to be from a chapter in a book, apparently. So if you are new to the world of Lua and you're thinking to yourself, you know what would be a really good way to start learning Lua? And you think to yourself, I will go to lua.org and I will click on the demo button.
Yep.
Let us be the cautionary tale.
No, I like this. I'm going to go away and do that this evening.
Right, yeah.
But
maybe there's a different way. Maybe there's a different way to learn Lua that's going to feel less like we're getting punished. What do you think?
No, I'm loving this. I mean, but me personally, I don't know that it makes entertaining stream content. Let's put it that way.
I think that's on us.
That's on us. That's on us. Okay, Diego, what have you got for me, man? What have you been learning about Lua in the background while we've been fooling around here on stream?
Kind of the same, but I was able to install it on a virtual machine.
Ooh.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to do it from scratch. Had some issues. It was a new virtual machine, so maybe I can share my screen and show you.
You can share your screen, and I will put you up.
Yes.
I'll share the entire screen, whatever.
We have Big Dan on screen for a moment.
I look a little different in that headshot than I do right now.
Less fabulous.
Less fabulous. It's
more
true.
Multi-purpose.
All right, so what do we got here?
So over here, under installing, just copied and pasted this curl command.
Yeah.
And then, extracted it, ran all the tests, but to update my system, so sudo apt upgrade, then update. Had some issues with some packages here and there.
What I really, really like is you're logged in as root right now. Fucking YOLO.
Yeah, definitely, all the time.
I don't know if we're allowed to swear.
All the time.
Yeah. I don't think this channel is marked as kid friendly. I don't think it is. I think we can.
Yeah,
to be fair, to borrow a phrase, this is our show, so we can do.
That's true. Are you channeling?
Had that discussion yet?
Are you channeling Chris Nova?
A little bit.
Yeah. Excellent. It's only going to get worse as we descend. So.
Yeah. So one thing I noticed is that this actually doesn't run any install steps. Just make all tests. So basically, the tests. I couldn't find any way to install it on my system to make it available on my path. So whatever, I'm just running the executable from /src/lua, which is.
All right.
All right, that seems fair.
Which is here.
Which is there. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we got here? We've got, so here we have some header and some objects and some C, right? So it looks like Lua is itself written in C, not weird, ultimately, right? So you compiled this.
All of the C files have maximum 8 characters in their file name, like I mentioned.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, you can see where they're very undescriptive names because they're trying to fit into that 8-character limit.
Nice, old school.
Mm-hmm.
So I happen to be sitting on a Mac right now, and I just did a brew search for Lua, and you can just brew install it, apparently. Is there a way for you to do it with your package manager on that machine, Diego?
Yes, apparently there is. So if I try to run Lua, it will detect that I don't have it installed.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And it will suggest just to apt install whatever version that I prefer.
Right. Well,
when
Lua
compared to this 5.44, and the latest is 5.44. So that is one.
There you go. Okay, so do you want to try to install that, or are you happy with the one you've compiled yourself?
I'm happy with the one I have right now. It works. So
super. Right on. All right, so we have what we hope is a functional Lua interpreter.
Yep.
Can we run one of those getting started, like the Hello
Yes.
World?
Yes, we can. And
Yeah,
I
so
have.
let's just do that.
I'm happy to report it works. So here it is. Again, I'm just calling that executable manually. Then I pass in the file name, which is under my folder Lua /
There we
Lua.
go.
We use descriptive naming in this stream.
Yeah. In this house, we obey the laws of
good code practice.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure we're going to be breaking them left, right, and center as we go on, but they're low-hanging fruit, I feel.
Exactly. Okay, great. So we have a functional Lua interpreter. Thank you very much, everyone. This concludes our stream.
Hey, listen, we got to the half-hour mark. We've got it running. I think that's a win.
Yeah, no, but I think is I'm not intimidated. I feel like okay, this is maybe if we. If that dumbass Python script that I wrote had chosen a more modern language, maybe we'd be running into this a little differently. Look, I'm gonna level with you all. In my heart of hearts, I was really hoping it was gonna pull Elixir out, just because Elixir sounds cool as hell, and I was looking for an excuse to play with it, but it didn't. Lua is what fate decided for us. So let's do some Lua. We promised at the outset that we were going to do a little bit of Eurovision theming on this, right? So beyond the fabulous hair and fishnets and glasses and space buns, and also Diego, who's got a cloud behind him, which he, if we're very, very lucky, maybe we'll see it turned on a little later. Beyond all that, because at the end of the day, we are big old nerds. We like working with data. We like working with things like APIs and whatnot. We spent a little bit of time looking around yesterday to see if there is a reliable, actual API for Eurovision. As far as we can tell, there's nothing official. As far as we could tell. If there is something, maybe it's hidden. Maybe you have to pay for it. I don't know. Right? So we got two options, as far as I can see it. One, we can scrape some data from a website, or we can go to one of the fan sites that provides data sets to manipulate, or we try to interact with it as if as an HTTP endpoint, right? Or we can try to download a data set of some type. I don't know what that would, a CSV, is it an SQL dump? I don't know what it's going to look like. Something else. And try to manipulate that locally. What do we think?
Comment here from Juan saying, scraping data with Lua, how hard can it be? Do you want to go down that route?
How hard can it be?
The scraping part doesn't sound too crazy. The parsing is what maybe...
Yeah, I foresee trouble with tables in our future.
The trouble with tables? Yeah. Was that a Star Trek episode? Original series?
Trouble with triples.
All right.
I have that all the time.
Fair enough. All right. So, well, okay.
There is a data set, I think I put it in the Slack on GitHub, of sort of data from running back to 1986.
Oh, okay.
You could see how Lua deals with, I don't know, a CSV.
Sure. Let's start there. So let's see if I can track down this this data set.
I will. I've got it, so I can.
You've got it. All right,
I can
super.
Put it in the stream chat, so nobody has to open our company Slack on stream.
Yay!
And actually, let me put that in.
Eurovision Song Contest data set. That sounds promising, right?
I'm just dropping it in the chats on YouTube and Twitch as well.
Contest data set.
Why can't I get the chat?
And that's on GitHub? Yeah, it is. Okay, I found it. It's Speakervet.
Oh,
Speakervet.
So at the right place.
Yep, that's one we found. Now, this is from a few years ago. This goes from 1956 until now, where now...
Oh, is that by 30 years?
Is,
oh my gosh.
Is not actually today. Now, apparently the last commit was on 6 June 2021. Oh, here it is. Eurovision Song Contest dataset is a freely available dataset containing audio features, metadata, contest ranking, and voting data of 1,562 songs that have competed in Eurovision Song Contest between 1856 and 2019.
Did you say 1856?
1956.
What would Eurovision have looked like in
Between
1856?
1492 and
Yep.
between 1066.
Yep.
So,
Before Germany was a thing.
right.
Before
So
Italy was a thing.
Guillaume le Conquérant came over the Manche.
Yeah.
And landed in what we now call England. It was owned by the Angles at the time. And basically said, here's what we're going to do. 1, I'm slaughtering you all. 2, we're going to be fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
As I understand it, that was
away with all the colonialism.
Yeah, that was the genesis of Eurovision, as I understand it. So what is this? Is this a CSV? Is that correct?
Yes.
And
Okay.
it looks
So
like Diego has,
here I'm
has
following
pulled some of it.
the link.
Mhm.
That's and they run that sh file
Okay.
that apparently links to a CSV containing the contestants' data from all those years. So
And it looks like they have the song titles as well. Those last bits, those last strings are the. Does it
I
have the
believe you.
lyrics? What are those long strings at the end in quotes?
The
towards
titles?
The end?
Oh,
No,
yeah.
that's called the
No.
lyrics. We can do some lyrical analysis. Can we feed this into like ChatGPT or something?
Oh
We
my
could,
God.
but according to Dan's rules, we can only mention that name once per stream.
That's
I
it.
burned it. I'm sorry.
You burned it.
I did want to sort
Oh.
of pivot here. I did want to put Rockstar on the list of languages that we might do this in. But the thing is that I would want to actually have the author of Rockstar come on stream and hang out with us. So like Dylan, if you're watching, call me.
Yeah.
But it's not on the list. We're doing Lua.
No, we're doing Lua. I would be interested to know, like, we could run some statistical analysis on, like,
Whoops.
oh my.
Oh, YouTube.
Ooh.
Okay.
Your YouTube algorithm is revealing things about you, Diego.
I think it's more the
Yeah.
algorithm for associating with Eurovision than Diego. I'll be honest.
Oh, okay. So if you don't know,
Right.
if you don't know Little Big, Little Big is amazing, but we could get into that another time. So I have to admit, I did not, as a child, I did not grow up with Eurovision. I know there's people in my entourage, people in my friends group, people I hang out with that have been literally watching Eurovision their entire lives, right? And like their parents watch Eurovision, right? And so it's like this family affair, and it keeps going, and they're teaching their kids, and they're teaching their grandchildren, and so on and so forth, right? I did not grow up with Eurovision, sadly, right? And so I only came into Eurovision, within the last, 10 years.
Same for me, actually. I didn't grow up with it either, and I got into it when I went to college, which was 10 years ago.
Well, there you go.
Mm-hmm. So we have about the same cultural context when it comes to this stuff.
Precisely. So a lot of like, when I in my head, when I picture Eurovision, right, I have like a 10-year sort of history in my head. And that 10-year history is really different from a 10-year history that happened, say, for example, from 2000 to 2010, or from 1990 to 2000, and so on and so forth, right? Because
it was camp, but it wasn't quite as like, I don't know, overtly queer as it is today, I think.
Camp, but not glam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thinking about the winning entry that the UK had in the 80s, where you've got, like, I think it was the Spice Girls actually, like, doing this thing where they like ripped off their skirts in the middle of the thing and had shorts underneath, obviously, but it was like this shocking kind of unconventional moment.
Right.
Yeah,
for sure. And Eurovision's been really good for that. And one of the things that I really, really enjoy about Eurovision, beyond the spectacle, like the spectacle's great, right? The costumes and the songs and the set design and the choreography and just the
out of tune ballads and
the sheer over the top, like everything's just over the top. And and this is something that's interesting. It's worth noting. So the rules for actually performing in Eurovision is very subtle. You got to realize it. You have to be singing live. So the voices have to be live voices. The instruments can be pre-recorded.
I think there are some instances where the instruments have to be pre-recorded.
Is that so?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it is, but I know that there have been things where it's like, that they're not actually playing the instruments live because under those circumstances they can't be. I mean, I'm not just referring to the time they set a piano on fire on stage, but that
Right.
too.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'd like to be sure if there's some sort of instrument that would be impossible to mic up in the time frame necessary, or who knows what, right? Yeah, okay. So there was a couple of years ago, and by the way, we're just chatting so Diego can like spend some time staring at some code. But this is the Eurovision episode, so we're going to talk about Eurovision, right? How could we not? There was a few years ago, and it became an internet meme, and it had its whole 10 minutes of fame across the internet. People didn't even know where it came from. Was Epic Sax Guy.
Yes.
Do you remember Epic Sax Guy?
Epic Sax Guy, 10 hours. That was my first year of undergrad.
Right?
We listened to all 10 hours of the YouTube 10-hour version, pulling an all-nighter.
Oh my
We didn't
God.
get any work done, actually.
Well, how could you? Epic Sax Guy.
Of being like 19 and listening to that all night in my room in undergrad, yeah.
Yes. So Epic Sax Guy is Sergei Stepanov. That is the person who Epic Sax Guy is, right? And he participated in the Eurovision Song Contest in like 2010, right? And I think he was, I don't want to get this. I'm about to say something. Was he Romanian? Moldovan?
I am going to go out on a limb and say he was Slavic of some Moldovan. You were right.
Moldovan, yes. So here's the problem, right? When we get into Eurovision, it's super, super geopolitical. So if I go, oh, does everyone remember Epic Sax Guy? He was Romanian. And then everybody goes, oh my God. Oh no. You're canceled, right? Because he was Moldovan and they're very different.
The more mutually intelligible the languages of two places are, the worse it is to conflate the two peoples.
Absolutely.
And
right?
If you're in a Slavic country, you can just start speaking a Slavic language and you'll probably be understood. So it's like you've got to be really careful about making sure you identify people correctly.
Canadians hate it when you call them Americans, for example. Right? They hate it because they sound the same. Right?
The song was called Runaway, apparently.
It's called Runaway. Okay, cool. So anyway, Epic Sax Guy, right? And he's wearing this. He's got this little pinstripe vest, if you remember, and like the blue pants and the kicks. You know, the inflatable ones, like from the 80s.
Peak
right?
2010 fashion, like the whole
exactly.
Wikipedia page.
And
now.
he's got his sax, and he's got these on his hands, right? And he's got Epic Sax Guy.
Almost the same color, actually. His are like red.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard this whole story about this beautiful moment, Epic Sax Guy. Go look it up if you haven't seen it. For which their performance on Eurovision, they were awarded some sort of super fancy high honor by the Moldovan government. Now I'm questioning whether we ever actually heard him play sax.
I'm going to go and read his Wikipedia page a little bit more closely.
Right? Did we actually hear him?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I dedicated a small portion of my life to his honor. I'm not saying that.
You're emotionally invested in this question.
But
the Wikipedia page does not mention.
But have I ever actually heard Sergei Stepanov play the saxophone?
Technically, no. What you've heard is a recording played to you through some kind of speakers of him playing sax, unless you've been in the room with him and his saxophone.
Okay. So yes.
All right. And therefore, the best.
Okay. Fair enough.
You didn't hear him. You heard the waves that went through the air.
Exactly. Yeah. And then they hit my ear, and then the little bone inside my ear vibrated, and then my brain interpreted those messages as beautiful, delicious saxophone music. Exactly.
In your head. Yeah.
It's literally all in my head, precisely. I'm going to have another little bit of my drink here.
All right. So this repo looks amazing.
Okay.
Apparently, what they're doing here is getting this CSV file to get all the information, including the YouTube URL for the videos. Then it runs a Docker container that uses the Chrome driver, Python Chrome driver image to execute a script, a Python script that apparently downloads the actual YouTube video and it does something with it. So looks
The actual
interesting.
YouTube video?
Yeah.
YouTube DL, it's a Python
Yeah.
package you can use to just you plug in a URL and
Wow.
it's great.
Okay,
I use
cool.
it
Exactly.
for traveling. If
YouTube
there's like a
DL
YouTube
over
video I
here.
want to watch, but I'm on the Eurostar and my internet sucks, I'll just download it beforehand.
Nice.
Yeah.
My question now: how does this get us closer to doing something stupid with Lua?
I'd say we acknowledge the greatness of this repo, but we stick with the CSV file.
Okay, so dear speaker vet, whose name on GitHub appears to be Janne, so maybe Jan or Janne, right? Thank you so much for this excellent repo and the cool stuff that's inside it. And we're definitely going to play around with this, probably maybe on another stream a little bit more closely. So wherever you are at ByteDance, thank you. Super appreciate it.
We'll shout them out on Twitter later.
Exactly. Super appreciate it. Let's get back to Lua. What can we do with the CSV?
What can we do?
What can we do? All right, let's just start with something really simple. Let's figure out how to access the file system in Lua.
Good.
Can we literally open a file on the file system? Is that a thing we can do? Who wants to drive that? Diego, are you down or?
I can give it a try. I can give it a try to I can show my Google skills. So Lua FS read.
Because if not, I mean, I can share a terminal window in Vim and see what happens. I'm not fancy like you, Diego. I don't have no VS Code magic. Just me and VI all day long.
Old school right now, right? Like we've got the 8-character C files.
Yeah, true, right? Hold on, let me brew install Lua, just in case. Let's see what happens.
Sure.
My suggestion was going to be, can we load like the first 10 lines of the CSV and print them out again or something?
Am I not sharing my screen right now?
You are not. No, you stopped sharing that a while ago, dude.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I thought that was on purpose.
No. Okay, so yeah, you missed a lot of cool stuff that I shared.
Okay.
Oh, Diego was showing stuff off.
Well, not to the streaming platform. That's why I changed the layout.
Okay. Man, Diego, you don't even have the excuse that you've been drinking. That's your issue.
Let's not blame Diego. Let's blame the streaming platform.
Okay.
Actually, yeah,
let's blame the streaming platform. I'm down.
And that was totally the reason that I wasn't sharing Diego's camera earlier as well. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I was 100% it.
Totally.
Absolutely was my fault.
Can you see my screen now? Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. All right.
Yeah, I clicked on star repo.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, some love there. I appreciate
it.
You should too. Everybody do that.
That's the best possible metric you can have for a
And you also missed
several teams
this.
everywhere should bend their efforts towards this, right? Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
My Googling skills.
I got a question actually coming in on another Slack workspace that I'm on, which is, what are y'all drinking? Fair question. That is a fair question. Eli, what is the beverage choice?
I have Famous Grouse because I am not fancy and I had it in my room already. I've got nicer whiskey elsewhere, but this is what I'm on.
Nice.
I don't want to develop my palate too much, otherwise I'll go broke. So.
Fair enough. Don't make the same mistake some of us have made. It'll be like, you know what? If it hasn't been aged 100,000 years, I'm not interested.
Whiskey in my time, but my gosh, it adds up quickly, both in cost and liver damage.
For sure.
A nice whiskey that goes down smooth, you don't realize how much it is until it hits you and suddenly you're falling over. I've been there.
That's what's up.
At conferences.
I am. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to go get the bottle. I'll be right back.
I'm drinking ginger tea.
Healthy, health conscious.
It's what I had here with me. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, it cannot find it. All right. So where am I? There's no downloads folder because I'm using. I did download it to my host system, not to my remote virtual machine.
Yep, sure.
But Yeah, that's fine. I can just
It's just a
copy it
curl, so you can
once
do it there,
again.
right? Yeah.
Exactly.
We like it when explanations are that simple, I think.
All right, so for everybody out there, I am drinking Vouvray from Vaudanis. It's super nice. This is a sec. This is 2014. I've had this in the cave for a little while now, so busted it out for this very special occasion. If you're not familiar with Vouvray, it's from the Val de Loire, so Loire Valley, I guess in English, and it's super, super nice. What can I tell you about it? They do. So I have not actually visited where this is from, but I know the producers. They're a pretty reasonable group of guys, and they do. I don't know how to say it in English. Méthode de lutte raisonnée. Reasoned.
Yeah, reasonable.
Reasoned growing. So it's not
like
bio.
sustainable growing.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It's not labeled organic, but
But they are doing the stuff from that like practice that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So they do a whole bunch of they do bubbly, they do some other whites, super, super nice. So if you are looking for a nice, I would say mid-range, right? They're not, it's not the low end of the wine spectrum, but it's not 300 bottles either. If you're looking for a nice mid-range Vouvray, check out Domaine de Vaudanis. You will not be upset.
We've got everything on these streams. We've got Eurovision, hacking around on code, VMs not telling you when they don't have curl installed, wine recommendations.
Oh man, we could do a whole stream just on wine recommendations. Seriously, we could just do a degustation session. I'd be down.
Well, imagine the kind of guests we could get on for that.
Right? Oh yeah, for sure. Right? I'd wear the wig again too. That's what's up. Are you kidding me? I love this wig. I want to wear it all the time.
It's your stream.
Yeah, it's my. I do what I want.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So something is happening or not happening.
Okay, what do we got?
I'm trying to open the file.
Yep.
It's big, so it might just take a while.
Oh wait,
that's true.
What if you open a smaller file? Like just make a file with just like some a hello in it and open that and see what's up. It doesn't even have to be a CSV necessarily, right? Just literally, can you open it?
That's not in the same directory, is it, Diego?
Indeed, that was the issue.
Look at that.
Size of the file.
So, all right. So what do we learn? What do we look at here? So we got file equals IO open. So we got that IO again.
Yep.
Remember we saw IO earlier? So IO writes. There's IO input. There's IO read. There's IO open. What I'm guessing here is that IO is some sort of general purpose input output library. Does that?
Yeah, it's interesting because Python you have them split up into different namespaces. Like you have file.open, file write, and stuff.
Oh my God, Diego, do you not have an ad blocker?
Something happened with my Pi-hole.
Good God, man.
And yeah.
Oh.
So.
My condolences, dude.
But I'm helping Tutorials Point to get some money. So.
Yeah, I guess. So while you're looking that up, I'm going to go look up IO and the official documentation because now I'm curious. Like, what is the official statement on that?
Now, so what I can see here is okay. I can
IO
read
library.
a specific line. So what can I do, or what should I do here? Should I just go over every single line of the file and then parse it manually?
I wonder if there's a way to read it into a table specifically. Because if tables can be two-dimensional, that's what a CSV is, right?
Right.
A two-dimensional array. In theory, if it's not, if it's all sort of a nice CSV.
Good old Stack Overflow.
Good old Stack Overflow.
Listen,
now, what I'm wondering...
The large language model that shall not be named will never compete with Stack Overflow as far as I'm concerned.
What I'm wondering is, and I don't know anything about Lua. Does Lua have an ecosystem where you can download libraries? I don't know is the answer. And if there is, maybe there's one for parsing CSVs. And if there isn't, do we have to Do we have to write
We have
one?
to write that. Is that what we're doing?
Is that what we're doing? Are we writing a CSV parser in Lua? Is that actually what this is going to end up being?
Live contributions to open source.
Well, but the thing is someone.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Someone's definitely already done this.
Yeah. What is the ecosystem like for sharing stuff? Yeah.
Yeah.
Lua package managers. I'm gonna have a Google. Lua rocks. The Lua package manager.
Lua rocks. Okay, this package manager.
So,
Perfect.
how do I install
Self-contained
that?
package is known as rocks. You can download and install it on Unix or Windows. Uses the same license as Lua, and it's got something that reminds me very much of the pip website, where it's got sort of recent stuff and most downloaded. Lua CJSON, Lua file system library, HTTP client, co-socket driver. I don't know what a co-socket is. Anybody can upload and host Lua models.
Nice.
Very cool.
I'm sure that's rife for abuse.
Oh yeah,
that's
I'm
perfect.
sure that's really deeply secure. So what if I search for
Lua rocks?
CSV?
I just installed it.
CSV, another delimited file reading, is the top result if you search for CSV. It's just called CSV.
Lua rocks search CSV. That's what you did, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's a few different options. Specifically, there's a data frame one, data frame for Torch.
There's one for Tensor. Right?
Now, tensors definitely are not limited to 2 dimensions. I remember that from
no. It can. Well, it cannot possibly be. It would be uninteresting, frankly. Yeah, exactly.
I never really got my head around tensors. I was pure maths, and tensors were the domain of people doing like fluid dynamics and
doing physics. Yeah, this is where I
like
learned
the
about
hard
tensors.
stuff, the really hard stuff.
Yeah.
Leave me alone with my number theory, where we don't deal with any actual numbers.
Excellent. Let me talk to you about what a number is.
First, we have to consider the concept of objective truth.
Yes. Oh my God.
What is that? Writing the conference talk that I'm giving in a couple of weeks.
Epistemology, right? Is that what that is?
Before we talk about how to store data in physical objects, we have to talk about the inherent impossibility of ever communicating fully with another human being.
In order to bake an apple pie, first we must create the universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we've got a couple of things. So if I just did, I installed Lua Rock super quick. I searched for CSV. There's got one literally called CSV, right? There's one CSV to Tensor, which I imagine is like for doing TensorFlow, something like that, right? Makes sense. There's FT-CSV, don't know what it is. LCSV, don't know what it is. There's also Lua-CSV, Stream CSV. So a couple of different options here. So let's see what we can get out of Lua Rocks while Diego is taking a look at that.
I wonder if that's because that implies that people are using Lua for handling streaming data, which I think of as a very sort of recent boom in tooling around that as a discipline.
So what's interesting is I did Lua Rocks search CSV, and it spit out a list of things. One of them is called CSV. Then I did Lua Rocks show CSV, thinking it would show me the package CSV, and it said cannot find package CSV.
I wonder if that's for things you have installed.
Oh, yeah.
Like you can't run pip version on something, or like thing version before you have it.
Right. So how can we use Lua Rocks to tell me about a thing before I install it?
Good question. I'm going to go back to their website.
Lua Rocks. Yeah, show information about an installed rock. Okay, fair. I could maybe...
Yeah, and to install, it's just Lua Rocks install package name.
Right. But what if I just want to learn about it before I install it?
Well, you'd better hope they've got documentation.
I hope it's at least as good as the Lua demo CGI bin.
There is a reasonable README here on the GitHub repo. Last Git commit 8 years ago.
For CSV?
Yeah.
That sounds good enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop the GitHub in chat if I can. There we go. So this is the GitHub repo for the Lua rock that we're looking at the moment, which is the top result on Lua's package manager for CSVs.
Okay.
All right. I just hit a wall.
What was your
What's
wall?
up?
I need to configure. And for some reason, it detects Lua, detects the interpreter, but doesn't detect Lua.h.
Ah, okay. So have you done, because you have the files, right? We saw all those C
So
files.
yeah, but I decided to just install it on my system.
Oh yeah, but given that you have those, can you pass them in using the flag that it suggests?
Probably. Okay,
I wonder
let's
if
give it a
that,
try. With Lua
and then
equals,
it's,
what was the location?
I think it was just,
All right, so I just went to Lua Rocks while we're doing this. So I went to luarocks.org, which is the thing that's listed when you run Lua Rocks. And you can just search for packages, right? And there's a number of different, all of these are CSV ones, but it's a little less clear. So there's CSV, just one literally called CSV. That was the one from 8 years ago. Fine. It's got 5,500 downloads. There's also FT CSV. FT, I guess because it was uploaded by somebody called Fourier Transformer. And it's got even more downloads by a small amount. And it says it's a fast and easy to use CSV library for Lua, and it was last updated 80 days ago. So it can read in CSV files, do basic transformations, can create CSV, supports UTF-8, maintaining correct line endings, et cetera, et cetera. So that already sounds a little better than the basic one,
Diego, can you
FTCSV.
see it saying configuring Lua Rocks 390? Oh no, that's Lua Rocks, never mind.
Yeah.
I wonder why it's appending bin at the end of the file path that you've given it.
Is it?
Yeah, interpreter
Oh,
not
yeah.
found in file path /bin.
True.
I wonder if you strip the slash off the end of what you've given it, it might like it more. No, weird.
What if you install it
There's
using a package manager?
That's what he's doing, but
That's what I did.
it's telling him that his Lua interpreter is not good. You know, when you were talking about not having to write code to install, get things running.
Uh-oh. Well, I've installed FTCSV. Brew works pretty good. Maybe the problem, Diego, is that you're using a weird operating system.
Yeah, it's an experimental thing. It's called Linux something.
Well, it's called Linux.
Yeah. Something like that.
Before anybody gives me a hard time on the internet, I literally have code contributions on the Linux kernel, so my bona fides are set.
You're actually allowed to talk about how weird and broken it is.
Actually allowed to talk about how weird and broken it is, yes. Actually, so true story. This is kind of funny. I have code in space. A lot of people do, and a lot of people don't even know it, which is kind of interesting. So I'm not unique in this, but I was very delighted to learn that it was true. So about 10 years ago, the European Space Agency launched a satellite into orbit, and it was at that time kind of new and experimental, and they launched it basically with like computers, and they were running Linux, and they included a full checkout at that time of the Linux source tree, including contrib and everything like this, because they wanted to be able to basically run computer in space, as opposed to like running computer here and then uploading changes to space. They're like, let's put the computer in space and see what happens when we do that. And so it had the dual function of being not only a satellite in space doing satellite things, but also an experiment in how do we manage critical infrastructure, critical computer infrastructure, when it's orbiting the planet, right? When you can't just go to a data center, when you can't just rack a hard drive, et cetera, et cetera. So that was part of the experiment, was learning how to do this. And so there's a snapshot of it of a point in time. And again, this is about 10 years ago. If you had any contribution at all to certainly the kernel, but also anything in contrib and a wide swath of stuff that was in the Linux ecosystem at the time, you have code in space, which is a really cool thing to be able to say. I like that. Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, I like to think someday we'll have code on Mars. I don't want to say it's going to happen in my lifetime. I'd like to see it happen in my lifetime. It'd be cool if we could, like, land people on Mars and do like, I don't know, code reviews from the Red Planet. That'd be cool, right?
Diego, I like that at least it told you that you were missing a Linux tool that time. There we go.
Dependencies. So yeah, FYI, you need to install liblua for the development dependencies.
Now, is that going to be Debian specific?
Probably.
Or do you reckon that's going to be true on Ubuntu, for example, which is what I run at home?
So this OS that I'm running is based on Ubuntu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Why did you search for Debian then?
I go to the source
Fair
because Ubuntu based on Debian, and if Ubuntu didn't add it themselves, it's probably on the source.
Gotcha.
Apparently, make completed.
So you have to install the package manager and like do a bunch of configuring for this package manager.
So I haven't installed it yet. I think I just did.
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, you couldn't configure it. You have to configure it before you can install it.
Yeah, I needed to build it to run make first, to configure then make. Now.
Oh, you're getting Lua socket.
Yeah. Seems to be there. So yeah, Lua should be here. Okay. Exit. Command C. Okay. Apparently, it's here. So if I do Lua and require socket, something failed. What should I expect? I don't know. Doesn't say. How do I install? So you already went through the documentation, right? How do I install a package?
Lua install package name, which I think is what you just did. Oh, so Lua Rocks install.
Lua Rocks.
Lua Rocks
install.
So that's this. And
maybe sudo? Did you do sudo?
Don't need to be sudo. He's already root.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Because why not?
No, you are absolutely. Yeah, you're correct.
No, don't. So you want FT-CSV? That one looks better. Leave CSV, but the one you want is FT-CSV. As in Foxtrot Tango.
All right.
Nice.
Now, how do I use FT-CSV? Lua. Right. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Parse.
Mm-hmm.
That looks very nice.
CSV. Okay. Now. Okay. So I import the library. Now I use FT-CSV parse line, so line by line. I'll use the test file, which is called test.csv, and I'm using commas. And then I want to
get... T at the end of test there.
The what, sorry? Test. Yeah. Yes.
Code review rejected.
Oh, yeah.
I can use dot notation to get the value. So it's name, ID, and color. Name. I wonder if they're using
if it automatically strips the first line.
Yeah.
We'll find out, hopefully.
They should.
I love that it's Eurovision and we've got American spelling of color.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a criticism, I just find it funny.
Function require blah, 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 blah. Yeah, the same error that I got. Did I install this? Yes. Do I need to install it locally or is it installed globally?
That's so strange.
Let's give it another try locally over here. Maybe it's like global packages and then local packages for your project.
Meanwhile, I'm going to Google Lua package not found. Lua require not working on Stack Overflow.
Didn't create any folder, so it doesn't seem like it installs.
Require
the
searches in
dependencies locally.
directories listed in package.path for Lua files. Indicates the path. So if it should have given you a whole list of things like paths saying no file path name. Fix the place where you are. So maybe you need to look in your Lua rocks directory or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like it might not be looking in the right place for your things.
What?
It might not be looking in the right place for your package.
Wait, this is another error. This is different. It jumped through. It went over the first line where we had the error when I ran the package installer locally from within the folder of the project. Now I'm getting a different error in line number 4.
It doesn't like your syntax somehow.
Yeah, it doesn't like a zip code there, but
So it's not parsing each line as a table or an array and allowing you to access by attribute name in the same way that the example seems to indicate you should be able to.
I don't know.
What if you just happens if you just print zip code?
So zip code is the iterator variable that's created from this.
Well, we think it should be, but if it were, wouldn't the code you have work? So maybe it's not.
Right? So let's try that. And we get number 1.
Right. So if we go back to your test CSV,
Yeah.
what's in there? There's no ones.
There's no 1.
Interesting.
Indeed. For load from strings, nope. Let's try this. Actually.
It's not returning you an iterator, it's returning you one line at a time. The parse line,
Yeah.
the function is an iterator, but when you call it, it returns you something else.
So this should return a value or something. How do I declare a variable? Do I use a special reserve word or blah?
Sorry, what was the question?
How do I declare a variable? Do I need a reserve
Good
word?
question, I don't know.
We'll see. Table, all right. Well, this is a table.
Cool.
Interesting. Now, table in position, is it 0 indexed? I think it was 1 indexed.
Yeah, I wonder why that for loop wasn't working. Did you not have end at the end of that for loop?
I did, yeah. Or here.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, if you copied it from the thing, you would have, yeah. I'm just thinking of things that I wouldn't have noticed upon first look.
If I used case, no. So
What if you do blah.id?
ID.
Oh, sorry, no, you're not looking at your
Here
thing,
I'm,
are you?
I'm parsing this string, where supposedly these are the headers, and then these are the values.
Yeah.
It's only one line. Could it be that my CSV is missing something? No. Just, well, you know what? Just copy first 2 lines. Well, if it's first 2 values over here, test, and then we have year, and yeah, just try to extract year. Let's go back to the original example. I'll attempt. And let's try to get that year. Attempt to index a number value. Index a number value. So if I go back here, but the example is using dot notation, right?
The code example certainly implies that.
Yeah. Don't make me read. Okay, is this CSV available? Nope. Spec, no, probably not. Oh yeah. How was it called? Free zip code database. Free, not here.
I'm going to have a quick search in it for the. See. Yeah, it doesn't look like the free zip code database is in this repo. The importance of good documentation.
Yay.
So this brings something back, right? 2 fields. Maybe use this as annotation. No. Do I have like a type of?
Well, when you printed a table before, it told you that it was a table, didn't it? And it told you its memory address.
Yes.
So it really is a number, I think.
You mean?
Yeah, what you're getting there, because it's printing you out like 1 and 2. Clearly, it's doing something weird.
I would say this is giving me each line.
Well, clearly, whatever it's getting back for each line is just getting a number rather than a table element. Because there was something you did before that did give you a table, right?
For this.
Yeah.
What if we tried the regular CSV library?
Give it a shot.
Yeah, why not? Wasn't stopping us.
Over here, the good folks at Stack Overflow gave us an example that I'm gonna copy. And just, replace.
Good old Stack Overflow.
Oh yeah.
Let's just paste that in, see what happens.
So local CSV is require test.lua.
Yep.
Does that make?
Record CSV over here, Lua CSV. What? I think it's more like this. And I need to use the...
You've got a mismatch of caps. You've got a CSV with a capital at the beginning in your second line, but none in your first.
Indeed, thank you. Weird styling, for me at least.
Yeah, maybe there's not consistent convention about these things in the same way that there is in most other languages that I've seen. Right.
We have something. And this something comes from the CSV file.
Boo, here Stan suggested a bad library.
Boo!
Nul point.
That's okay. I'm okay with being blamed for this.
Line index.
When Eli screws up, it's the streaming platform.
I accept
when Diego can't code, it's Dan's fault.
But this is why it's so good that there are lots of options. You know, if you can't get one to work, no matter whose fault it was, Or whether there's lack of documentation, or we're all just not seeing a typo somewhere or something.
We're not pointing fingers directly at Dan, but just in the general direction of.
But imagine if that was the only CSV library out there, and for some reason we just couldn't get it to work. So.
Yeah, fair.
Hey!
There's something weird with the... No.
Oh, no. I wonder, it's still giving you the numbers. So I wonder if what it was doing before was it wasn't able to pass the rest of the line, but it was still giving you the index of each element. Maybe?
I don't know. It's giving me the headers, name, ID, color, and then the values.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not what I would expect.
I've seen this before with pandas data frames, and I can't remember exactly what the situation was that I was dealing with, but I knew that it was basically treating the headers of a CSV as the first line of the thing rather than the column names, as it were.
So wait, I is the index, so that's this number, I guess. So if I replace this with, I don't know, whatever thing, yeah. So I'm manually printing the list. It's not like the interpreter is printing each index for the list.
Yeah, it's interesting that I don't know if this has a concept of the header line of the CSV. This
so
library.
I could print the values. Yeah, same thing. Doesn't work for me. It's going over each individual field, right? Fields in lines. Okay. And for each field, it's printing...
set header to true if the file contains a header, and each set of fields will be keyed by the names in the header rather than by integer index.
And where do I set that?
And I think that's in CSV open.
Tutorial here.
I would love some code samples.
How does it expect it? Let's see.
I think you do curly braces and you set header equals true, and that's true in all lowercase. And then end curly braces, and you just put that in. Yeah, but I don't think you need to quote it. I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
And I think it's an equals, not a colon.
Okay. JSON days. Now nothing happens. Without it. Works. Set header to true. Header true.
CSV open takes a second argument parameters, a table of parameters. So you might need to do like parameters equals.
It is a table, right?
Yeah.
And a table is defined with curlies and then comma. Key, comma, value. Almost there. No, it doesn't break, but it doesn't work.
It definitely looks like
not breaking is like a good first step, though.
Yeah, it looks like it wants in. Let me look see if they've got tests.
Load. Okay, equals. We have an example here. Key equals value, and now nothing is shown. Great.
Huh. In the tests, it defines the parameters outside of the function and then passes it in under the name parameters. So I'm not getting to see the syntax of like it literally just putting curly braces within the function call.
So I'm taking that from these other examples. Were they passing options, apparently? Wait, are booleans? Yeah, booleans are in lowercase.
Yes, they are.
Header, Singular header or headers? Here, headers.
This is for FTCSV, by the way, just so you know, you're looking at different library than the one we're now using.
Shh.
I mean, I'm still struggling. I'm still struggling to find out what the syntax is meant to be for this CSV open function part. If you want to pass in a second parameters.
Okay. Were you trying to make it work on your system, Dan?
Yes, I'm still messing around with FTCSV, and
giving another chance.
Yeah, just giving another chance, exactly. And basically, what I've gotten to now is, where it's basically telling me it's attempting to index a number value, which is. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, I understand what it is that you're saying right now. But then my question is why is FTCSV either why is FTCSV expecting it to be a number, or why is it trying to spit back a number when it's a string, right? So the question then becomes like, I have to assume it's not a bug in the library. That would be weird to me if it were a bug in the library. Right? I'm not saying it's impossible, but when we're having such a simple use case, what am I doing wrong? It becomes the question, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know yet.
I'm looking at table syntax now. Nowhere can I find an example of trying to create a single element table. So I don't know, because what I'm trying to figure out, the thing I suspect now, is that if you put a comma after true in your code, it might, like with a tuple in Python, it might require it in order to understand that that's a table. Nothing.
Right, no. And the examples of FTCSV use it just like that. A table and key value, key equals value.
What you can try is if you create parameters is empty curly braces above your function call, and then set parameter headers, and that would have to be in quotes, the header or header. No, yeah, parameter header in quotes equals true, and I think true without quotes.
Yeah.
So
Didn't like it.
No. So new line on line 2.
Good.
Yep. Parameters equals empty curly braces on line 2.
Yes.
We can try that and now pass in parameters. I don't know, maybe it doesn't like constructing the thing on the same row.
Maybe. Do we want to call it local as well to follow the pattern? Nope.
Try doing it with empty curly braces now, and then set header equals true manually. So now on the next line, on the next line, do parameters square brackets header in quotes equals true, and then true not in quotes, and now see if it likes it.
Yep, they didn't like it.
I'm lost. I'm done. I don't know. That was my one idea.
Good idea, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless maybe it wants true in quotes. Or maybe this just doesn't take, maybe its second argument just doesn't work very well in this library.
Man.
Yeah.
You know what's great? Lua.
Yeah.
Yeah, super down. Super impressed so far with the developer experience here.
I've had worse.
Yeah, really feel like the onboarding experience and the getting started documentation and just really the the ecosystem. Living up to my expectations, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Ooh, luausers.org has some resources.
Let's go to the source.
Oh, it's about like actually parsers. It's not how to use.
Next time we do this,
yeah.
I'm going to write the little the little Python script to pick which language we're going to use, and we're going to have like 6 or 8 options in them, and every single one of them is going to be JavaScript.
Yeah.
Down. I think we missed one small detail. Last commit.
No, I said that last commit 8 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. So
okay.
yeah, the base package is super old. That's why I said choose FTCSV because it's recent, and I thought it would have better documentation because it's a newer package.
Let's go back to FTCSV.
Well, here's the thing about FTCSV. So I got a question for you about that. If you go to the GitHub repo and you look at the README says FTCV parse free-zipcode-database.csv. It says that right in there. You just passed it. It's right there. Yeah, it's right there. Literally right there. Where do you get that?
Yeah, it's not in the repo. We looked for it.
It's my question.
Yeah.
Which one? What part?
Right. So the point I was trying to make is I thought that this would be a better choice because it's newer and it's been updated recently. But the actual documentation that says run this so you can learn how to use the library relies on a file that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whereas I think the issue with the one we were just looking at is that it assumes some kind of tribal knowledge about how to parse in variables or how to create things that we're just missing.
Right.
Like there must, I think there is, my vibe is, there's a correct way to do the thing we were just trying to do, but we just don't know what it is, and nowhere can we find out what it is because we don't know the right sequence of words to put into Google.
Lovely. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what?
We ran code.
We
managed to get it to print out Eurovision stuff.
Yes.
Yeah,
sort of. Look, we talked about Eurovision.
Check.
We had some drinks. We learned about some computer stuff, right? I feel like, whatever. We did the thing.
What I'm now curious about is what applications does Lua have these days? Is it still video games? Are people writing? I mean, obviously there's Lua in production everywhere, right? Because legacy never goes away.
Right. I bet you if I had to guess, I would say the most pertinent use case for Lua is parsing CSV files.
Well, it's clearly an unsolved problem. You're getting different errors now. The delimiter must be of string type. Exactly 1 character.
It is. Though. Hold on. It is.
Line doesn't support loading from string.
Look at your delimiter. You're not doing that.
The what?
Oh, yeah. Set load from string true you've currently got, and you don't need that.
I just copied and pasted.
Oh, parse line doesn't support load from string, apparently.
So this is as far as I got. The error you're getting right now, that's as far as I got.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly it. Attempt to index a number value of local zip code.
Yeah, I think if you just print zip code, it's going to give you a number again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Empty lines, yeah.
That's so strange.
So
it knows that there's 3 lines there.
Nope.
What type of a primitive is zip code?
That's what I would like to find out.
We hope it's a table.
So I was trying to do some Googling on type checking.
This is why you need good type docs. You need good. This is the API of the object that you get returned to you.
Type of.
I feel very lucky having done primarily Python for the last few years because I'm very spoiled now.
Let's just change these to something different. Line.
No, just give us type of zip code. Let's see what it is.
There's nothing.
A nil value.
Do we need to import a library to get type of?
Oh, I wonder if type of doesn't do brackets but instead does a space like print in Python 2. I wonder if you do type of. Oh no.
No.
Never mind.
Lua type of type.
Type, not type.
Well, you were
of?
definitely looking at something that said type of.
Oh wait, print.
Did I?
You didn't
Okay.
print it.
Oh yeah.
But, I mean, you're still going to get the same problem, but you didn't print it. So let's just try type.
Number.
Yeah.
Number.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, it's literally what it said.
We should have gone with the HTTP requests challenge.
We should have.
Instead.
That would have been way easier.
Well, yeah, until we download 3 of the HTTP libraries on Lua Rocks.
Can't make a single one of them run.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
It's going to give you expected character near something.
I will give me the index, right?
And zip code okay.
Is the table.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can do maybe.
Oh.
Alpha,
so the code sample is just wrong.
Neil, wait. Yeah, it's alpha.
It wants quotes, I think.
Yeah, maybe I have to put that in quotes.
1.
We did it.
Oh, we did it.
So their code sample in the README is just wrong.
So the code, okay. So the documentation is wrong. Amazing.
You're looking at CSV now, not FTCSV.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Too many tabs, buddy.
Yeah.
You know what? That deserves deserves a little refresher.
And a PR.
Yeah, for zip code and thing. It needs to be Isaac. Hey, you can submit a pull request.
You know what?
Yeah, nice. Let's do it.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
Open the pull request.
I'm here. Okay.
Yeah.
And I believe I can do it right here without forking it locally.
Yeah, you'll fork it in the web interface.
Yeah.
Your fork's outdated. The one that you just forked, it's outdated.
Yeah. Hey, they just made their first commit in 8 years. Oh, that was the other library, wasn't it?
That's the other one, yeah.
But so here we are assuming that there will be a free zip code database file somewhere.
Yeah. So parse through a CSV file that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Index.
That descriptive naming. Yes, we love it.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah. You know how in Python, when you do something in the Python-y way, it's called Pythonic?
Yeah.
What do you think the Lua equivalent is?
Lunatic. It was right there.
It was right there. Well done.
I don't know what it would actually be.
No, that's it. That's the one.
Okay.
And if you are out there, you're watching this, you're in the Lua community, and you're disgusted with what has happened over the past hour and a half, I feel like that's a you problem, not a me problem.
Hey, come and we would like to formally invite you to come on stream and
yeah, exactly. Seriously, yeah. I mean, it's so. In all honesty, like if you want to come on and like teach us how to Lua, in return, I'll teach you how to Dougie. That'll be great.
Make example work.
Oh, the salt. The salt.
Yeah. And once this, no, you know what else you could do? Is you could attach the YouTube video of the stream.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
We just
spent an hour trying to this pull request. Seriously.
Yeah, I'll show them. Hey, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'll create a pull request to fix your stuff.
Awesome.
One of my friends just gave his first conference talk, and he was speaking about how he got into a new project. He got into a new product called Umbraco, which is a .NET CMS of some description, I think. And he like made pull requests fairly early on because he like noticed documentation stuff. Mm-hmm. And all the people in that community were really hyped to see somebody so new already wanting to contribute. And he was saying like this conference talk about it was sort of like, it's great when you have a great community, because even though I had loads of technical issues with this product, the welcome from the community that was hype about me contributing was really good and kept me wanting to go back. So, you know, if the Lua community is healthy and thriving, they will be really happy that you made that pull request.
Nice. So there's no zip code. too many columns in row 1.
Yeah, it's too big. So let's
Oh.
take a small sample.
No, but is it too big, period, or is it just too big, like, because you have to enumerate
Okay, I'm going to
the
go
headers?
and look at the FTCV. I'm going to go and look at that Lua file and see where that error is coming from.
Wait.
Because this is too many columns in row 1. But
the
look.
number of columns is greater than the amount in the header after transformations. It can't map the fields count with an existing header. So our CSV is malformed.
Oh, and I start the repo. I already started.
Oh. Oh. Well, no, but is it though? No, hold on. Let's
Well,
not.
that's true. How much do we trust this Lua?
This is what I'm saying, right? Like, let's not necessarily blame the CSV file
that's
right
what
off the
the
hop.
error is intended to denote.
That's what it is trying to communicate to us.
We have 20 commas. That means we have 19.
That's many more than trace commas.
Right? We have 20. Yeah, we have 20 fields for the headers. Okay. Now let's.
So you should do a search for all of the commas, and it should divide by 20.
Or just a couple.
Is that your number theory getting put to work there, Eli?
34.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
There's something weird with this data.
No, but there might be commas
in the thing, in the name.
Remember, because there's lyrics, right?
Check this out. Yeah, but still, you have some random commas outside quotes.
Yeah. You've there's commas in the lyrics there.
There's commas in the lyrics.
Okay,
that's probably what's breaking it.
So the CSV is malformed, unless you're gonna have to escape it so that everything, all of the it ignores commas within quoted strings or something.
Yeah.
Can you do that?
Ooh.
I don't know. Are all the lyrics quoted?
You know, we should write a string parser to do search and replace in Lua.
Parsing,
you know, we could have done this if we had done this in Perl.
An easy and uncomplicated problem.
If we had done this in Perl, we would have been done by now. Is all I'm saying.
I would have already deleted my root directory by now.
We would have been done by now because Perl is extremely good at dealing with CSVs. Is all I'm saying.
Why didn't you magically pick Perl out of the list when you were definitely?
Because I wanted it to be random. I wanted it to be random. All I'm saying is, if we'd done this in Perl, we'd be done by now.
If we'd done it in C, we'd still be dealing with compile errors from building GCC or something.
If we'd done it in C, we would have been buffer overflow and a hack already.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now.
Ignore no. Header function headers.
I do enjoy that we got a parameters table working with this library.
Yeah, that's nice.
I wonder if that's a common pattern.
We could change the separator and use something different.
We could do.
Well, the thing is, I mean, you can change the separator, but the CSV file has commas in it. So how do you still have to parse out which commas are separators and which commas are in the lyrics?
Manually, every song since 1956 to 2021.
Well, this one only has 5 lines in it. So as our test CSV,
true.
Maybe. Ugh.
How about we just get rid of the lyrics column in this test CSV?
Now, yes.
Cut them
off. But how?
That will be quicker than trying to pick all the commas out of each one. Like, you're going to have to scroll through the whole thing anyway. You might as well just highlight all of it and get rid of it.
But the thing is, it's columnized, right? So if we're sitting on a Linux system, could we just not use cut?
Good question. Don't know.
Just cut.
So it's both the lyrics and the name. And maybe the author. Can there be many people as singers?
Oh.
Like Jen Miret. Robert
Those seem.
Montal.
Oh yeah.
Jean Miret, Robert Montal,
And
Monsieur
why do
Noé
we
de la
have
Serre.
then we have this con over here doing I don't know what.
So I don't know how to pronounce all these languages, but the ones that are on here, right? Like we got the French up here, right? Refrain d'amour, couleur du ciel, parfum
Yeah,
de mes 20 ans.
although the name
And
of
then
the person
underneath
singing
it,
that,
there's like De Vogels van Holland zijn zo musical.
yeah, like the name of the person right
Mhm.
before Refrain d'amour does not look like a French. Oh, it's Switzerland. Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah, so there you go. Yeah. All I'm saying is that some languages are prettier than others. That's all I'm saying.
You mean Hungarians' double acute accents don't appeal to you?
I don't see any Hungarian on this list.
It's not. No. Hungary kind of sucks. The reason I care about Hungary in Eurovision is that I'm quarter Hungarian.
Oh, there you go.
Kind of sucks in many ways. One of them is being Eurovision, and so they rarely get through. When they do, I'm honor bound to like, represent them in our group watching and drink when they lose.
And so what you're saying is you end up drinking a fair amount. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
They never sing in Hungarian anyway. It's so boring.
Is there some rules around what languages you're allowed to sing in?
I don't know.
I feel like there might be.
It can't be like an official language of your country because everyone, like loads of people sing in English.
So yeah, I think there might be rules around what language you can speak in or sing in.
I know that they could sing in Hungarian if they wanted to. I think like.
Well, hold on. While Diego is doing computer, let's find out. All right. So Eurovision. What languages can you sing in? All right. We'll just use as the contest is presented.
See, Diego has taken my approach of just delete loads of stuff. Just make it work. Minimum viable product.
As Eurovision is a song contest, all competing entries must include vocals and lyrics of some kind. Purely instrumental pieces have never been allowed. All right. From 1956 to 1965, there were no rules in place to dictate which language a country might perform in. However, all entries up to 1964 are performed in one of their country's national languages.
So who broke the trend?
In 1965, Sweden broke with this tradition by performing in English. So a new language rule, of course,
I thought it'd be more interesting than that, but it was just colonialism.
No, Sweden's not colonialism.
No, I mean in a sense that English being the lingua franca is because of colonialism.
So we can get into a whole thing about that in a moment, right? Because there are a handful of other colonial languages that I think would like to have a seat at that table.
Oh, yeah.
But in 1965, Sweden broke with this tradition by being performed in English, and a new language rule was subsequently introduced for the 1966 contest for all competing countries, preventing entries from being performed in any language other than one of the relevant country's officially recognized national languages. Now, we know for a fact that countries who do not have English as an official language sing in English, so at some point this was removed. Let's continue to scroll through this page. Here we go. The language rule was first abolished in 1973, allowing all participating countries to sing in the language of their choice, but then it was reintroduced ahead of the 1977 contest. This is all, of course, before any of us on the stream were born. So we're dipping back into ancient history here.
Mm-hmm.
However, as the process for choosing the entries for Belgium and Germany had already begun before the rule was announced, they were permitted to perform in English for that year's edition. Bold. All right. Nam nam na. It was abolished again in 1999. 14 of the 23 entries were in English. The large majority of entries at each year's contest after 1999 are now performed in English, giving it status as a lingua franca. At the 2017 contest, only four songs did not contain any English lyrics. Oh,
very nice, Diego.
Woo! Look at this.
1, 2, 3, 4 contestants.
Look at that.
Because it has like the original CSV has like jury score and popular vote. I don't know. Has popular vote always been a thing with Eurovision? Because these days one of the big enjoyments of it is seeing how wildly they differ for a given song.
From the official votes? Yeah, exactly.
I saw a TikTok the other day which was like the top 10 most the ones with the biggest discrepancy proportionally between the audience vote and the jury vote. And there were some bangers, ones that audience popular vote loved.
Well,
and
see, here's the thing: like the jury. So I was actually having this conversation literally this morning with a group. We're talking about Eurovision because what else are we talking about all week? Obviously,
it's Eurovision week, yeah.
Right. So I was talking with my friends this morning about Eurovision over morning coffee, and this is one of the things we talked about. So the juries in each country, if you don't know Eurovision, or even if you do know Eurovision, you're still new to it. The juries that set up the country vote for the country, so you assign the points and whatever, right? These are opaque bodies. They're made up of an inscrutable group of people, country by country, and the rules inside of that country up to them to determine. So a country could, for example, be literally one person, like one woman sitting in a room somewhere going, I like this song. That would be completely legal and valid within the Eurovision contest. It could also be like some sort of countrywide, like I gotta imagine Estonia, because they're super online and super connected, and I feel like that's a country that would be pretty into Eurovision. Their country vote could literally just be some sort of like, well, we're gonna have an election for the president, but also as long as you're on your phone, maybe you could just vote for the Eurovision song. That would be completely legal and valid too.
The thing about the jury vote is that it has to be submitted ahead of time. I think compared to the audience vote, which is done live on the night, so tomorrow night. Whereas I think the jury votes are based on the semi-finals, and they are not related to what happens on the finals night, to my understanding.
Right, but in principle, there's no difference between what happens on the finals night and the performances that are in the semifinals. Again,
no,
in
but
principle,
it means that you couldn't do something like just taking the audience vote to be your jury vote.
No, but that's correct. So the jury is completely opaque. Every country gets to set its own jury rules, and whether they publish who's in the jury or not. And I've read about, it's a collection of like industry people and artists and blah blah blah. But who knows who it is? I know who it is. Everybody knows who's been watching Eurovision for more than 1 year sees a voting pattern. And this is one of the beautiful, amazing things about Eurovision, is that it's geopolitic writ large, right? So you always have these sort of voting blocks, right? Traditionally, the post-Soviet countries kind of all vote for each other. England never votes for France. France never votes for England. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Okay. Right. Exactly. It's fine. And like some of the stuff that you expect. And then there's like relationships that maybe you don't expect that come to bear, like weird interplay between Greece and Cyprus and Turkey.
I was going to mention Greece and Cyprus as being an interesting one. Yeah.
Yeah. The Greece and Cyprus connection is really, really interesting historically, Eurovision style. And so the jury votes, some of the countries who don't have strong geopolitical ties will have more of a vote that's in alignment with the popular vote.
For example, the popular Australia, vote is whose I think only obligation is not to vote for the UK, and that's it.
Yes. Well, I think that's everybody's obligation. Ultimately.
We have one in the past.
Good for you. That's nice.
I think last year we would have won probably if it were not for Ukraine and the war.
Potentially.
Ukraine's song was fine, but the UK did better than we've done maybe in my lifetime.
In a long time.
Yeah.
But conversely, note that the year after Brexit, the UK got a historical, ready for it, drum roll. How many points, Eli?
It was very, very low. Was it 0 across the whole thing?
This many.
Yeah. And I think the song we submitted that year was like, I'm sorry. It was like an apology song, as is right and proper. And, history has so far borne out the idea that Brexit was a big mistake.
A big mistake.
A bit of an oopsie we did.
Well, yeah. I mean, what are you going to do?
Be miserable about it for the rest of my life, probably.
That's the one.
That's the one.
On the other hand, you can always console yourself with Eurovision.
Exactly.
So, yes. How are we doing, Diego? What's going on, buddy?
You found a new data set.
Same data set, shorter.
Okay.
Stuff.
Did you load it into a CSV manipulator online?
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah, I saw you doing some wizardry, and I didn't know if it was. Yeah, I assumed that you'd found an extra data set, but no.
And again, I want to point out, because I just saw it. I just saw the CSV. There you go. I just saw the CSV on screen, and I want to point out, I know that Russia is not the most popular country right now. Let's put that aside for a moment and just, relish in the glory that is Eurovision. If you have not checked out Little Big, go on the YouTube, check out Little Big. That's some of the, oh my God, so good. You're going to like it. You're going to like it. If you don't like it, you're dead inside. Okay. But there's a lot of really good stuff that's come out of Eurovision over the years. Eli, do you have like a favorite memory from an act you've seen?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I mean, there's been a lot of good ones. There's been so in the last few years, there are a couple of songs that I like that are just like on my Spotify rotation these days. Spirit in the Sky, which got criminally underrated. What's the other one? It was by the band Rasmussen, and it's Higher Ground by Rasmussen. That one as well, which I really, really liked. And they're both like, I guess Higher Ground is more like, I don't know how to describe the genre. I mean, it's Eurovision music, and they're both great. I tend to like the Nordic countries' music most years.
Iceland. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, Daddy Frere, who they had technical issues on one of the years that they were performing and got underperformed at the vote because of that. And that was Think About Things, which was their sort of big breakout number. And then they did, what was the one they did next year? 10 Years, which I really like, and my spouse and I reference to each other all the time. Good, yeah, they're great. Yeah, there's been some really good music. There's been a lot of dross, but there's also been some really good music in the last 10 years from Eurovision.
I really liked back in, was it 2021?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it was 2021 when Flowrider was in Eurovision.
Yeah.
I think it was 2021. Now, what country was that?
I don't remember. I don't remember the song. Completely unmemorable. Let me have a look. Let me have a Google.
Yeah, it was. You know what it was? I think it was San Marino.
That rings a bell. Yeah,
I think it was San Marino.
Apparently.
2021 and Flowrider.
Yeah, and I was like, up with affliction, come give me your full attention. I want you to tame my fire now. That sounds like Flowrider.
That sounds like the lyrical genius. Adrenalina. That's it. That's the one.
Exquisite. I love Eurovision.
That was a lot of fun.
Some stupid stuff.
That was a lot of fun. And by the way,
Je veux une moustache. Do you remember that one? Yeah.
For me, my main knowledge of Eurovision comes from the movie that Will Ferrell made a few years ago. Story of Fire Saga, something.
Oh, that's right. There was a movie, a Will Ferrell movie about the Eurovision.
95% of what I know about it is
I have not actually seen it.
Conchita Wurst was in it, apparently.
Conchita Wurst was in it, and she won. She won for Austria. And
she was in this film, this Will Ferrell film.
Oh, she was in the Will Ferrell film, yeah. Well, she also
Eurovision legend,
they
obviously.
Probably invited
obviously
people that are really popular that I just took as extras, random extras.
Yeah, Conchita Wurst was a phenomenally popular Eurovision contestant. So, in her persona as Conchita Wurst, she's a drag queen, and I think the person who plays Conchita Wurst essentially is a guy. And not a trans woman, but incredible Eurovision performer, just some incredible dresses, stage presence, love it.
Oh yeah, she's a great performer.
Made some bigots very mad, which I'm always here for. So,
aren't we all? All right. So look, we are bumping up now on 2 hours, which is pretty reasonable, I would say. And I am absolutely down to continue just talking about Eurovision and getting progressively more sauced. That to me is the perfect evening. Okay. But why don't we circle back to the code? Diego, what have you got for us?
Done by. Very nice. Love it.
I got string manipulation. Well, basic string manipulation with apparently dot concatenation.
Oh, dot operator. Look at you. Very nice.
Does commas not do that?
It does.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it doesn't let you manipulate the
Maybe it does
string, and
something
it
cleverer.
adds.
Yeah, what's the difference between a dot dot and a comma, I wonder?
I'm going to Google it.
From what I could see, it added a specific size of spacing.
Ah.
Instead, when you use dot dot, it just concatenates everything.
Well, that's weird because in the hello world, the comma didn't do that.
So it didn't do what?
The comma didn't add spaces.
But this isn't either. You've got spaces within the strings where the colons are afterwards, right?
So does dot dot do something with white space?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm wondering if it does something really like something smarter with the memory allocation. On Stack Overflow. So
Several spaces.
Strings in Lua are immutable. Each concatenation produces a new.
Wait, that's print. Object. We were using IO writes earlier, which is different from print. Which is different from print. So IO, so a comma in the context of IO write could be different from the context a comma in the context of print.
Oh, and I wonder if IO write can you can configure it to be writing to different places and it just defaults to standard out, whereas print will always be standard out, or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Where like print might be a specific
implementation,
like implementation of IO writes or something, right? Like it's a shortcut where it's like it's opinionated.
Or maybe it's less memory efficient because it knows it's not storing it; it's just going to terminal or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
And if you were writing to permanent file, you would use by convention IO write or something. Spitballing here, but
maybe. Okay, Diego, walk us through the code you wrote here. What did we figure out? Start line 1 local. What are we doing here?
Wait, I'm gonna give this a try because we had the ignore quotes before.
Yeah.
And that may have been the thing that was breaking stuff.
So don't ignore quotes.
And there you have it.
Oh my God.
Just
very nice.
Don't need to ignore quotes. As soon as you ignore the quotes, it starts reading the commas inside those quoted strings.
Amazing. So it turns out that FTCSV is actually a good library. It's just the documentation needs some help. And that's okay. In the world of programming, that's not weird.
Well, Diego has made a pull request to, mitigate this problem.
Hopefully they will
there you go.
approve it if they agree.
Nice.
You will be a Lua open source contributor.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe that should be one of our unofficial things that we do on these streams, as we try and check off as many languages as possible.
And then we send that
make
PR
some kind of contribution. Maybe we're on a mission to improve documentation across the world.
Yeah, I like that.
That sounds good. I like that. Yeah, that works out well. Excellent. Yeah, I would further posit that would require us to be as fabulous as possible.
Every time. I think you need more wigs.
Yeah, this is not my only wig, Han.
That does not. Those two things are not mutually exclusive.
That's true.
I could use some more novelty glasses frames as well. I have somewhere white heart-shaped frames, but they diverge significantly enough from my current prescription that I really don't like wearing them anymore.
Right.
Nice.
So going back to the code, we had the options, the ability to pass in options. If you have commas inside your strings, maybe don't ignore the quotes. So here we are just passing nothing, or we can just not do it, and it will work just well.
Right, yeah, because there are no options.
Right, then we use FTCSV parse line to bring a list, I guess, that we will go over. The first item of the for loop is the iterator. And then you have the data. What
does it do for the first line, the headers?
What does it do?
Does it print year, name, comma, from country?
No.
It just ignores the header.
Triple checking. Nope, it doesn't. So it just prints out the data.
Huh.
Yeah, so we go over that huge list of lines for each row. And for each row, we will get the information that we want using dot notation, and then the column name. So over here we have.
It's clearly using those headers because that's what it's turning into the attributes that you're then using on the next line with that dot notation.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Because
cool.
because it's a CSV aware library, so it understands the first line as a header, right?
Well, because the other library, what we couldn't get to work was the getting it to understand that there was a header there, because I guess not all CSVs have them.
They do not.
I say I guess. I do actually know that. Yeah.
Here I'm adding another field. See if it works.
Oh.
No. Place final.
Eurovision data.
Eurovision data. Eurovision data. Yeah.
And then we have nothing. Place final, because maybe those didn't 2020.
Oh, there were some numbers there. You scrolled by them.
Yeah, there 2020 something happened. 2019 something happened. I don't know. There's
maybe they just didn't have that data loaded in or something.
Yeah. And
some
then we have the
place.
With the
data, but yeah, okay.
The final place.
I'm seeing some Hungary in there. Yeah.
Did this person win in 2019?
I don't remember them at all. Let me go see if I can remember their song.
If we add that over here, maybe.
Yeah, you know what? Yes. I remember this song, and I was really mad about it because, like, I was really mad about it, one, because the Netherlands. Right? And two, I just didn't think it was worth winning. Like, even a country that I would like to see win, if it was that performance, I wouldn't have been happy with that win.
I like that the ad I've got, I put on the Eurovision song, just to see if I remember it, was a booking.com ad for Liverpool, which is where the final is tomorrow night.
Arcade.
Featuring Conchita Wurst. Some conditional. A conditional.
Give it a try, right? Equals 1. Then? How do I end an if? End?
So we've got someone in the chat right now. We've got the Feu, who says that we need to be showing the song titles. I couldn't agree more.
Yes.
Right.
To learn how to do conditionals. If, then end. If, then
it looks like you got it.
Equality equals double equals. Yeah, not sure.
Thank you for your suggestion, Feu. I'll drink to that.
I mean, run it, see what it does. Oh, did you just do that and it was nothing?
I mean, I'm not the one doing the work, so, you know.
Quote the one. It might be a string, not a number.
Yeah, that could also... Yep, that was
it. There we go.
So we now have the
Alexander Ryback. I remember some of these.
Is that correct?
Oh.
For Kate?
Yes.
Let's reformat it. So from what I
can... Oh, no, you have got the song titles in there. Yeah.
From what I can hear, song titles are more important to you than the author or singer names. So yeah, we can have.
Well, both are important.
Can
we have both? Why not both?
Why not both? Why can't we
have
that? Both?
Like that Mexican commercial meme.
I don't think it's Mexican.
You don't think it's Mexican?
No.
Am I being
in English?
Super imperial right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Spanish, maybe.
I thought it was. I thought it was for like some like beans. I know that sounds really awful, but that's what I thought it was.
Yeah, no. That's.
I missed all of that because I was looking at something else. What?
Why not both GIF? Why not both GIF? Hold on. Explanation.
Margarine and butter, I think.
No, hold on. I'm going to look it up. What can we get? Where is the Know Your Meme? Here it is. Why not both? Oh, there's no explanation. There's no explanation on Know Your Meme. We'll have to do better than that. Where does the why not both meme come from?
Is this accurate?
$19.44 Jamala from Ukraine. Amapados. Dois.
If
Yes.
not, it's not my fault. It's the data's fault.
Yes. No, that looks right.
Then, did we do it?
Did we do it? Did we do the thing? Oh my god, we did the thing! Excellent.
Amazing.
Amazing.
I think we've fulfilled our success criteria in terms of the code.
Amazing.
Yeah, so
Incredible.
Our challenge was for loop.
So, wow. Diego, good for you, buddy.
Yeah, I was
Well
able
done.
to do a for loop and an if inside of it.
Well done. And in my defense, the Why Not Both comes from something called Old El Paso, which is apparently an American brand.
I always assumed it was an advert.
Yeah, it's like American Mexican food.
Oh no, we do. We have that here in the UK.
Yeah,
you get
I don't
like,
know.
You get the like fajita kits and stuff.
Oh, okay. Very
El
good.
Paso.
Right on. Right on. So there you go. Why not both? But Diego, man, good work.
Big props.
Thanks.
You managed to get it all working.
Big props. Look at us. Well, mostly Diego.
Yeah, I'm not sure we were much help. We may have been more of a hindrance.
It was really that Diego was able to accomplish this under these adverse conditions. Really is a credit.
The rest of his team just drinking and talking.
Just really just day drinking and like being accidentally insulting. It's fine.
Yeah, we did it. We are able to find a list of all the winners.
Nice.
Until
we have
2019.
a request. Hang on, I can actually put this
in a language that we didn't already know. Amazing. Okay. I don't know. It was looking dicey there for a while too, eh?
Yeah.
The Fur has said, "Well done. How many times did each country win?" We may save that as a challenge for next time we do this.
How many times did each country win? Oh no, you're gonna make us save a counter. No.
I'm pretty sure we can do that. We saw numbers being incremented in some of the in the printing the global variables example.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to try and attempt that now?
Well, I mean, the question is, does Diego want to try to attempt that now? That's really the question.
5 minutes if he.
All right, we'll give it 5 minutes. That's the time box. That's the time box.
Right. Challenge accepted.
So
said they believe in us.
We have a table, right?
We appreciate that. I hope Diego appreciates that because he's not actually doing all the work.
We will use this table to create results. To put the country ID. Yeah. And then equals +1, right?
I mean, maybe
in some other languages.
Does plus equal? Is that? Do we have that in Lua?
We'll see.
What is to country ID? Where's that come from?
The second column. So.
Okay.
A short ISO name.
Okay.
Yes. Does it need to be Eurovision.data to country ID?
Yes.
I really like that we can hear you typing on your keyboard.
Oh, and this isn't the clicky one. The clicky one is the new one that's split.
Oh yeah? I thought you were. So I was about to say. I know you got a new keyboard and you're typing really, really well on it. But...
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
This is the one that I need to practice on this weekend.
Okay, got it.
I don't.
Look at that bad boy.
In Lua, because in the example we saw, it was doing equals thing +1. So I think you might just need to copy. Yeah.
Equals things.
No. I don't think there is a plus equals equivalent.
Right.
I think you need to copy results thing.
Sure.
And just add one to it. because we saw it was n equals n plus 1 in the global.
Yeah, like it would be.
function.
Wouldn't it be like? Wouldn't it be like x equals x plus 1? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to need to add an if this equals 0,
Mhm.
or if that doesn't exist, then set it to 0.
If
Oh, can you?
Neil,
Yeah, then set it to 0. I don't know if you can 0 initialize that array, but maybe not.
Yeah, we have a table.
We have a table.
Amazing.
And then how
What's
do
in
we
that
go
table?
over the table? Just for loop.
Yeah, the same way we did with the other one, right?
Yeah.
For
like I was saying, like we had any hand in this.
Hey, I contributed minor corrections.
Totally. It's always teamwork. For
Are you going to need to do the parse line thing? Oh, no, it's just a table, so you don't need to. Never mind. It's not a CSV.
Do we get with I? Attempt to call table value for iterator.
Oh, yeah. How do you iterate over a table?
Who iterates the iterators?
That is the question. We probably have an answer. On Punkhas, Lua beginner's guide. For I equals something, no. For while, no.
We've passed the 5 minutes, by the way.
Really? No, we have.
Yeah, we have.
We still have time.
Okay. I see we're in like install bar time. Very nice.
For I equals something.
5 minutes remaining. Is it?
Okay, equals 1, then results.
Gotcha. It's like C. Yeah.
And there's a comma over here. Yeah. In. There is no in.
Bad for limit.
For limit.
Expected number got table.
Did something.
Well, it stopped complaining.
Yeah, but it
didn't do nothing.
Work. For something equals 1, 2, data, that.
That's for a 2-dimensional array. So
1 dimension is similar. Let's just replace. This is.
yeah, that's what you just had.
Yeah, same.
Can we go back to that example? Just let me see it for like a couple more seconds.
Sure.
Could you just print
the whole thing?
Yeah.
That's so strange. If you do that, it just says this is a table at this memory address.
Like so could you not just print?
Could you not just
print the table element?
You get a reference.
And and concat. Use concat on it. Could you not just do that? Like as in print results dot.
Inserting elements that insert. Table that insert something. Yeah. And yeah, I just found out that, or realized that we are using numbers as iterators, but over here we are just writing two string results that.
Oh, that's not an index, it's a string. We already know this. All of the numbers are actually strings. So you are dealing with a 2D table.
Yeah.
Okay. So the 2D example maybe will work? Because if you go lower down...
I want to use this insert.
But that doesn't have keys and values, does it? Lower down on that page, there was something about two-dimensional arrays. Yeah, there we go.
Tables within tables. Oh, here. No, this is the index.
No, that's telling you. So if you go down to two-dimensional tables, does that tell you that the one you're almost about to scroll past?
This one?
You can see it's iterating over that.
Yeah, but how do I insert?
I think the first thing is actually the index, and the index then gives you a table, gives you an array.
It's for a equals 1, and so that's what's going to increment.
Yeah. So if you just print Eurovision, can you print results I dot
Wait,
1
yeah.
square brackets 1 here?
Here.
No. Quote the 1?
Quote
maybe?
The 1?
I don't think you quote the 1. No.
Nope.
Okay, never mind.
Let's do...
What about 2?
Results. Here I get a reference to the table.
Yeah. What if you go back to the thing you just commented out and do 2 instead of 1? Although it shouldn't have printed us nothing before, though, should it? Because it should have printed us something saying there's a table here and you can access it or something.
Okay, so if I hard code it in L, I get the answer 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. France? Has France
so
ever
maybe
won?
iterate over
5?
the list of country codes? I don't know.
Yes. But I don't want to do that.
We're past the 5 minutes. We've theoretically solved this.
We've theoretically solved it. Yeah, exactly.
The rest is left as an instruction to the reader. Or as an exercise to the reader, sorry.
Becoming competent is left as an exercise to the...
Not so much in my degree. It was like reading something I just did not understand and then going, the rest is left to as an exercise to the reader.
Draw the rest of the owl.
Mm-hmm. I have read technical documentation in my time that very much felt like
there it is!
Oh, amazing!
Ireland.
Diego Lua was it. Put that on the CV. I think you can start submitting to Lua conferences now.
All right. All right. So in the chat, Zifu, are you satisfied?
Oh, they said close enough. Let me pop that up on stream for proof.
Thank you. Now,
thank you so much for issuing us the challenge.
I super appreciate that.
Making us, by which I mean Diego, stretch ourselves a little bit more.
All right, excellent. Well, look, we did the thing. We started we randomly selected a language we didn't know. We jumped into figuring out how to make it go. We learned some things about how it works. We found a data set. We manipulated the data set, and we gained insight from that data set. I would say, honestly, mission accomplished here.
You know, and now when we go to like a conference and we speak to like in our day jobs as developer advocates, you know, we go to a conference, we speak to a Lua dev, and they go, "Oh man, the install problems I've had." We'll actually be able to speak from the heart when we say, "Yeah, I know."
Oh yeah, I heard you. I heard that all day, all day. Install problems all day. A WinRAR is you. Excellent.
Yeah, so we've programmed us a Lua for great good.
For great good. Yeah, exactly.
Haskell was on the list.
Haskell was on the list. Boy, well, we're gonna have to take Lua off the list now and replace it with something. Or do we just make the list smaller and smaller until we eventually go through them all?
Smaller until, I don't know, we get... Because, I mean, we'll have to replenish it before it gets down to, like, 3. Because then we could reasonably read up on time, like, ahead of time, to prepare ourselves, and we can't be having that. It needs to be a number that is unreasonable for any of us to, like, prep for.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you, but what if we just don't? What if we just don't prep?
I mean, let's find out, I guess.
What if instead of doing something,
I don't back myself to do. I don't back
instead of doing
to
something,
prep. Even
we
if I
do
knew what
nothing.
language it was going to be, I wouldn't. So.
Right? You know, I think that's fair. Okay, so we did the thing. Mission accomplished.
Ireland.
Ireland. Wow, look at you coming up big, Ireland. Okay, so we're going to take Lua off the list because we have accomplished our goal with Lua. And that's going to leave us with Elixir, Elm, Julia, I'm doing this from memory now, R, Haskell, Pearl, and another one.
Oh yeah, we replaced then this
There was
one?
another one that was on
Did
there.
you mean to take your screen away? Just checking.
Yes,
last
I
time.
did. I'm tired of
Fantastic.
staring at
Let
screen.
me take us back to just our faces.
All right. So I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up right now just to make sure.
Or maybe let people submit.
So this is what I was going to say.
Here's the thing,
So
I
we
asked
started with
my
a
group
list.
chat.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we had 8 choices when we started. 8 choices. And it was Elixir, Elm, Lua, Julia, R, Haskell, Pearl, and Dart. That was the one I couldn't remember. We're going to take Lua off the list. We take Lua off that list. What do we replace it with?
Well, see, I asked my group chat, and they suggested brainfuck, our second swear of the episode. White
It's a
space.
trademark, so
No, but here's the
not
thing.
a-
It needs to be a
MATLAB.
real language that you can actually do stuff in.
What was it? Yeah. LaTeX was another one of the suggestions.
Oh my God.
Yeah. My friend suggested that, and you had that reaction when we were in the meeting, and I relayed this to you, and I said,
Does your friend secretly hate you?
I don't think so. I think she just loves chaos.
Yeah, fair. Some people just want to watch the world burn. I get it.
I respect it.
Yeah.
But what I will
yeah,
not do as a result is write LaTeX code to like query an
No.
HTTP API.
I'm not writing an HTTP parser in LaTeX. I'm not doing it.
Well,
Not even for the memes. I will say one of
Something,
the things this has caused me to want to do is to write a Europop version of the Rockstar programming language. So that may be what I go away and do in my spare time for the bit.
That's the thing.
one thing that I can say is that maybe Elm and Elixir are a bit too similar.
Are they?
A bit.
I don't know anything about Elm at
Yeah.
all. I
sadly
just
do.
it's on the Stack Overflow list. That's what I know about it.
Yeah.
How
It's,
hard is it to write
an attempt
WebAssembly
to
directly?
do web stuff with Elixir, which is no.
Whatever. It's on the list. You can't take it off now. Not until we
Okay.
do it. All right. So I'll tell you what.
We're talking about Elixir and stuff. There's the new hotness called Gleam,
Gleam?
running on the battle-tested Erlang virtual machine. Gleam is ready for workloads of any size.
Is that GLEAM?
Yeah.
Gleam dot.
As part of the wider Beam ecosystem, Gleam
Oh, no,
programs
that's-
can use
that's
thousands of published packages, whether they are written in Gleam, Erlang, or Elixir.
Gleam
So if we want to
programming
hop on
language.
a hype bandwagon, because I think this is a new hotness that I've seen on Twitter.
Okay, so it's literally just a thing sitting on top of Elixir. I don't know. If we're gonna have Elixir on the list, is it fair to have also Gleam on the list?
Probably
don't-
not. Thinking about languages that are similar.
All right. So
My
Maybe
question
we
is
pick
it
out
possible
of
to write
suggestions from the
WebAssembly
people?
directly?
is it possible to write assembly? Yes, of course it's possible to write assembly. Oh,
Okay,
WebAssembly.
Is it reasonable to write WebAssembly directly, or is it always you write it in Rust and compile it down, or whatever?
You can do many other things besides
I
Rust.
mean,
you
you
could
could
do Python,
you can
whatever.
write bytecode directly if you really
What's
feel
the
like
developer
it.
experience like, I guess? Because that could be one we add to the list.
Right.
Of assembly?
Assembly. If we're not putting C on the list, we shouldn't put assembly on the list.
Well, if we're not
I
putting
reckon we
assembly
could
on the list,
do-
what, Fortran?
I reckon we could do a .NET language. We could do C#, F#, something like that.
F sharp?
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see Diego run F sharp on a Linux machine. I would pay for
I can
that.
give it a try. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have. I'll find the YouTube link before I.
All right.
Before I get to if I was
Let's-
plugging it. But
let's
I have an excellent
replace-
talk to recommend on.
It's done. We're doing it.
on
We're replacing. We're
property
officially
testing.
replacing Lua with F sharp. I'm doing it in the script right now.
Good. Then it's done. We
And it's
achieved
done.
our goal. It was fun. I looked like a fool, so check.
Ah, no, we all look. You look like a fool. I'm the one wearing a pink wig. The
Exactly.
point is,
That's why. I'm the different one.
no, that's yours. I look fabulous. It's a fact. So, as always, we end every show exactly the same way, which is where we thank everybody in the chat for coming through and hanging out with us in the chat. Thank you, Zifu. for your suggestions towards the end. Super appreciate those little challenges. Thank you for those of us who joined us at the start that haven't hung out with us for 2 hours. It's okay, 2.5 hours at this point. Don't worry about it. Super appreciate everyone coming through, everyone hanging out in the Slacks and giving us words of encouragement. Also, always connecting with us on the socials. We super appreciate it. We are on Mastodon. We actually got much better engagement on our communications around this on Mastodon than we did on Twitter, which says something about you, our cultured and educated and refined viewership. So good for you. I super appreciate that.
I really hope that our local recordings work so specifically so that I can cut down a high-res version of you saying that in that wig.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's definitely no discordance there whatsoever. As always, we broadcast every Friday afternoon. Not every Friday afternoon goes this long. Not every Friday afternoon contains this much alcohol. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We also do a very fun monthly episode called Ask Dr. Cube, if you're into Kubernetes, where we get on a Kubernetes expert and ask them questions and then they answer them. So that's a lot of fun too. And then going forward, we're going to be doing a lot more just sort of silly stuff. So is there anything that you, as the viewership, you want to see? You want to see guests, you want to see themes, you want to see topics, you want to see different ways of us making fools of ourselves with computers? Reach out to us on the Scaleway community stack, on Twitter. I'm at Frosty. Good luck spelling that. At unJavascripter, easier to spell. That's Diego. And at, strangely enough, Eli Holderness.
Yep. I wanted _Eli _, but somebody has it and hasn't used it. But hey, Elon's going to kick accounts that have been active for 30 days, so maybe I'll nab that.
Yeah, but only profitable ones that he can use to embarrass people. So
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
Do we have anything else that we want to talk about before we go? For example, I want people to sign up to my Kubernetes newsletter that I write, and I write crosswords for it, and I have to write a crossword for it very soon, and I'm going to put a lot of effort into it. So please subscribe so that my fruits of my labor don't go unrewarded.
What is the name of that Kubernetes newsletter?
It is called Behind the Helm, and if you Google Scaleway Kubernetes newsletter, you will find the place to sign up for it. We did not prepare the QR code to flash up on screen for this week, but you'll be able to find it.
You could just go. You just Google Scaleway Behind the Helm. You'll find it. It's like the first result. Sign up for the newsletter. It's super good. Eli writes it. There's a crossword in it. There's a crossword.
It's the crosswords. Like all the other news is like, it's great. You get the news, you stay up to date, whatever. But I write a crossword and I love it. And please do the crosswords and tell me what you think so that I can get better.
Excellent. All right, so we're gonna call it. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming through. Super appreciate it. This was a lot of fun. We're gonna do it again. We're gonna choose another language and we're gonna make fools of ourselves.
I'm already excited.
I know, it's gonna be really good times. In the meantime, between now and then, there's only one important thing. That's tomorrow. In 27 hours? 20.
Yeah, 27 hours, 26 and a half.
Right? Eurovision.
Yeah.
Right? Eurovision. So if you, again, if you're in the know and you know what it is, you're having your watch party, you've already got that set, everybody's bringing the various Eurovision themed items and foods and drinks, and you've got your drinking game of choice already set up. Don't worry about that. If you're Diego and you've never seen Eurovision before, figure out how to watch it. Put it on TV. It's all free to air.
See if you enjoy the vibe.
It's all free to air.
But
if not, watch it online.
Listen to the UK version if you can get it, because Graham Norton is a national treasure and you should enjoy him.
So good. We watch the British broadcast version when we can find it, even here in France, because it's the best.
It is Graham Norton, and before him we had Terry Wogan, and if there's we have barely anything else on lock, but we do have that. We do have the commentators.
It's true. It's true.
And then, however you do it, maybe take a picture and tweet it back to us. Or
oh my gosh, yes.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
I mean,
tweet us your Eurovision watch parties.
If you do choose to follow me on Twitter, please be aware that in 26 and a half hours, my feed is going to become incomprehensible about you unless you're watching Eurovision. So.
All Eurovision, all the time.
Absolutely.
In approximately 27 hours. That's right. All right. All right. Thank you so much again. We're going to call it here. If you liked what you've seen, if you don't like what you've seen, if you want to heckle us, if you want to enjoy features, let us know. Subscribe, like, smash the buttons that need to be pressed. We'll see you next time, everybody. Bye.